Here's something to think about. The very thing that has killed more humans throughout history than almost anything else, freezing them solid, starving them, leading them astray until death, that exact same thing also kept thousands of humans alive. Yes, we're talking about ice. During the Ice Age, the world was nothing but endless white ice and bone-chilling cold, with temperatures dropping to -30, sometimes even -40 degrees Celsius. No solid roof overhead, no store to buy food from, and a single gust of wind could numb your body within minutes. Logically, you'd assume humans couldn't have survived long in a world like that. But here's the truly astonishing part. Ancient humans didn't just survive in the middle of all that ice. They actually turned that same ice into their greatest weapon, their most trusted ally. The very thing designed to destroy them, humans flipped it around and turned it into the key to their survival. How? Let's break it down in detail. Think about it. Today, we spend real money buying a fridge, paying electricity bills, all just to keep food from spoiling. Ancient humans had none of that, and yet they had something nature handed them for free: a natural freezer made entirely of ice. In warm weather, hunted meat starts rotting within just a few hours. Bacteria multiply fast, and the food turns toxic. But during the Ice Age, the situation flipped completely. Ancient humans would bury hunted meat beneath ice or store it in snow-covered pits. In the cold, bacteria couldn't multiply, so that same meat stayed edible for weeks, sometimes even for months at a time. What did this mean in practice? Once a group managed to hunt one large animal, they could rest easy for a long stretch, without the constant risk of having to hunt again every single day. Consider this. The modern refrigerator was only invented about 150 years ago. Yet nature itself handed humans this exact same solution thousands of years earlier, completely free of charge. The Ice Age world looked nothing like ours today. Massive creatures roamed everywhere: woolly mammoths, woolly rhinos, giant deer, cave bears. These animals carried enormous amounts of fat and meat on their bodies. After all, they needed it too, just to survive that same brutal cold. And this is exactly where ancient humans found a hidden advantage. In deep snow or near glaciers, these giant animals would often get their feet stuck, slowing them down dramatically, sometimes getting completely trapped. Ancient humans seized on exactly these vulnerable moments. Working in groups with coordinated plans, they'd surround and take down these massive creatures together. A single successful mammoth hunt could supply an entire group with meat, fat, hide, and bone. Enough raw material and food to last weeks, sometimes even months. This part tends to surprise people the first time they hear it. We tend to think of ice as just solid, frozen. So how could it possibly serve as a water source? Well, in winter, rivers, streams, and small water bodies would all freeze solid. Finding drinkable water became a genuine survival challenge. But ancient humans found their solution buried right inside the problem itself. By collecting ice and melting it near a fire, they could produce clean, drinkable water. It was nature's built-in backup system. No matter how scarce liquid water became nearby, as long as there was ice around, water was never truly out of reach. This simple technique kept countless ancient groups from dying of dehydration, especially when they had to cross long, remote, ice-covered stretches of land. Now for the most fascinating part. We normally think of ice as something dangerous, something to escape from. But in regions like Siberia and Northern Europe, certain ancient human groups actually used ice itself as their primary building material for shelter. They cut large, solid blocks of ice, stacked them into walls, and shaped domed roofs on top. Strange as it sounds, these ice walls actually trapped air and created a form of natural insulation. As a result, no matter how brutally cold it got outside, the small space inside stayed noticeably warmer and more stable. Add a small fire and a few bodies generating heat, and the interior could actually feel genuinely comfortable. In this way, ice, something that could easily kill, became a safe, reliable shelter instead. During the Ice Age, massive glaciers and thick sheets of ice functioned almost like a natural map. Ancient humans traveled from one region to another by following these ice-covered paths, because walking across solid, frozen ground was often far easier than cutting through dense forest or trudging through muddy wetlands. And this ice-covered route ended up triggering one of the biggest turning points in human history. Many historians and anthropologists believe that the first human migration from Asia into North America happened by crossing a frozen land bridge across the Bering Strait. Where there's open ocean today, thousands of years ago there stood a massive ice bridge connecting two continents. Humans simply walked across that frozen path and arrived in an entirely new world. The phrase Ice Age tends to bring up images of nothing but suffering, hunger, death, and a brutal fight for survival. And that's not entirely wrong. Countless people and entire groups genuinely did die during that era, from extreme cold and lack of food. But the real story runs far deeper, and it's far more remarkable than that. The ones who survived didn't just fight against the ice and win through sheer endurance. They actually learned how to turn that same ice to their advantage, for preserving food, for finding water, for building shelter, and even for discovering an entirely new continent. And maybe this is exactly where the real secret of human strength lies. While other animals simply try to flee from a hostile environment, humans stopped, studied it, understood it, and then turned it completely to their own advantage. The Ice Age wasn't just a test of human endurance. It was extraordinary proof of human intelligence and our unmatched ability to adapt.